What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here. Today we're going to be comparing my favorite and my least favorite kind of guitar strings. Alright guys, before I really dive into why I really like one of these sets of strings and why I really hate the other one, I need to let you know three things in full disclosure. So the first of those three things is that I have both of these sets of strings on separate guitars, and one of the guitars is in the $1,000 to $1,500 range, and the other guitar is in the $300 to $500 range. Now, I'm going to try to be unbiased with that because I've actually had both different sets of strings, the Elixirs and the Lifespans, on each guitar. So even on the $1,500 guitar, I've also used the Lifespans, and even on the cheaper guitar, I've used the Elixirs. The second thing is that these are really different styles of strings, to be honest with you. The Elixirs are more for a modern sound that you'll hear on like Taylors and Breedloves and stuff like that, as opposed to where the Martins, the Lifespans, are really more of a style that you're going to see on Gibsons and Martins, which is kind of the more folky, older style of guitar sound. And the last thing in full disclosure that I want to say is that my opinion is I do like that newer sound, that bigger, bolder, more resonant, more brilliant kind of sound out of strings. And so I'm going to be kind of biased towards the Elixirs because that's the kind of sound I like. The Martins are definitely better for certain types of playing, but you guys will see pretty quickly the Elixirs are clearly better for what I like to do. Alright, the first ones I want to talk about are the Elixirs. I'm just going to go into a little bit of detail on these because most of you guys, if you're looking this up, you know what the Elixirs are. You're trying to figure out probably whether the Martins are worth buying since they're a little bit cheaper than the Elixirs. So this is my Breedlove. This is the guitar you guys regularly see in my guitar lessons. And this right now has Elixir 8020s on it. I think, I'm pretty sure they're lights. So I love these strings, and I've used these strings for, man, probably like 5 or 6 years or something like that, and I can't praise these things enough. I went from using like Martin SPs and the occasional Diodarios and stuff like that over to Elixirs, which it's a pretty big price jump, but they're just so good. They sound great. They last forever. You know, they say that you can, you know, everybody always kind of says like, oh, how many months can you keep these on or whatever, and so on and so forth, and all my students ask that too, how often do I need to change my strings? And it really just depends on how much you play. But I play every single day quite a bit since I teach. I play every single day, and sometimes I play for several hours a day, and I have probably had this set of Elixirs on here for probably 4 or 5 months, and I think they still sound great. I don't recommend that really. Like, if you're a serious guitarist, you need to change your strings more often, especially if you play as much as I do, which I'm sure there's a ton of you who play just as much, if not more than me. But I can get these still sounding good, you know, 6 months to a year, and then I start like, okay, I need to change these finally, you know. But these do last a long time. They last a lot longer, so you're paying more up front, but then you don't have to change strings as often because you're not cycling through these crappy strings. Also, the tone on these is just phenomenal. It's unmatched. There's a reason these things ship stock on every Taylor. Taylors are known for that bright, brilliant sound that's just, you know, it's just very big and full and bright, and that is a lot in part due to the Elixirs that it ships with. It's not the only thing. Taylors are awesome. They're built really, really well and all that, but if that's the tone you're looking for, and if you're trying to get it on a cheaper guitar than a Taylor, then getting a $20 set of Elixirs is the first great step to getting that tone. So anyways, like I said, the Elixirs, I love them. They feel good, they sound good, they look good. Definitely recommend the Elixirs. I like the 8020s, lights or mediums. I've gone with the phosphorus bronze sometimes. That gets you a little bit closer to that Martin tone, if that's the kind of thing you like, the Martin tone or the Gibson tone. But if you want more of a Taylor or Breedlove or something like that tone, go ahead and go with the 8020s. You won't regret it. They're really nice. All right, now on to the Martin Lifespans. I cannot say enough bad things about these strings, to be honest with you. And I'm a positive dude. I don't like to rag on stuff, but I just don't see what Martin was doing here. I think that this was a pretty obvious attempt to like compete with Elixir. And I think Martin did a really terrible job with it. And I don't know, they might be like trying to work it out and put some new stuff out or make some changes or adjustments, but I don't like them at all. I don't. So again, like I said in the beginning, full disclosure, this is different guitars. So they're gonna sound different. So I don't want to hear in the comments like, oh, like, you know, yeah, well, you have, you know, this set of strings on an expensive guitar and this set of strings on a cheap guitar. So obviously it's gonna sound different. Yeah, like, I mean, that's true, and that definitely plays a big part in it. But I've had both sets of strings on both guitars, and this is a, you know, $300 Fender guitar, Fender acoustic. You see it in my videos sometimes. And whenever I put this thing on Elixirs on this thing, it sounds like a Taylor. It does. And I mean, this thing is beat up. I've painted on it. It's got a big old hole in the top. I mean, this thing is beat up old. It was my first guitar that I owned. And so right now this has lifespans on it. I've probably had these on for 4 or 5 months about, and I just don't like them. Number one complaint is they wear out fast. I feel like these lifespans wear out faster than just the regular SPs, the Martin SPs. And that's what I used to play on. I used to play on those Martin SPs, and I felt like I could get a good 2 or 3 months out of those if I really wanted to push them. And with these lifespans, I feel like I maybe get like maybe a month before the tone just completely goes away. The second thing, like I said, is the tone. The tone of these, just to me, it's just not cutting it. It's just not cutting it. And it's gonna be a different tone than I am accustomed to and that I like hearing out of an acoustic guitar, because like I said, I like that Taylor and Breedlove style of sound more than I like the Martin and Gibson style. So like I said, I'm a little bit biased there, but the tone on these just, even whenever the set of strings is brand new, it just isn't there for me. I don't like it. It doesn't sound very good. Even when I had these strings on my Breedlove, it just did not cut it for me. The other thing is the feel. With the Elixirs, the feel that you expect, you know, if somebody's ever tried Elixirs on here, which I'm sure a lot of you have, they're soft, they're buttery smooth, you can do slides, they're not squeaky and squealy, they just sound and feel really, really nice. It just feels comfortable. These lifespans, man, I do not like the way they feel. They're really gritty, they're really, they make a lot of noise when you're sliding up and down. They just don't feel good. Your fingers, after you play them, you get like this like residue on your fingers. And they feel gross, and they kind of smell weird a little bit, in my opinion. I know that's kind of weird. Why are you smelling your guitar strings, dude? But I don't know, man. After I play with these lifespans, again, whether they were on my Breedlove or whether they were on my Fender, my fingers smell weird for some reason. And the last thing I kind of want to say about these is that they just kind of don't look as pretty. I don't know how well you'll be able to tell this on the camera, but they wear out. When they wear out, they start kind of like getting discolored a little bit. Again, I don't know how well you're gonna actually be able to see that on the camera, but they get discolored, and they just, certain areas look of the strings look less you know, less color, like less of the same color. Like it's kind of like different colors in different areas of the strings, and to me that's like, you know, if you're going to be spending $12 to, you know, $20 on a set of strings, like I said, the Elixirs are, you know, 15 or 16, depending on, you know, where you get them, when you get them, so on and so forth. And the Martins, you know, are 11 to 20, depending on where you get them, when you get them. And the Elixirs don't get like that. I mean, unless you way overuse them. If you way overuse the Elixirs and keep them on your guitar for a lot longer than they need to be, then they'll start losing color too. But these ones, these lifespans, after a month or less, they start getting discolored. So guys, there's kind of my review of those two different kinds of strings. Like I said, you know, short story long, I love the Elixirs. I hate the lifespans. I gave them plenty of chances to redeem themselves on several different guitars, and I'm just not a fan. I'm not gonna do like a side-by-side play thing where I play the same thing on one guitar and play the same thing on the other guitar, just because it's not gonna really make a difference. I mean, one guitar, like I said, it's a $300 guitar, and it's got a hole in it, and it's got crappy strings on it. The other guitar has awesome strings on it, and it's a $1,200 guitar. So a play-by-play really wouldn't help. It's gonna obviously sound quite a bit different, and honestly, the microphone I'm using for this isn't really good enough to pick up those differences. So, but I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts, because a lot of times you'll see these lifespans on sale at Guitar Center for, you know, 10 bucks for a 3-pack or a $5 a piece kind of deal, and you're like, oh man, that's awesome. Let's get these instead of the Elixirs, you know, because they're the same thing basically. They're not. I've been there, I've done that, I've done it several times, being like, okay, maybe I just got a bad set, or maybe, you know, maybe they're making improvements on them. As far as I can tell, they're not. They suck. I don't like them. If you want the long life guitar strings, and if you want that big, brilliant kind of tone that you hear in like Taylors and Breedloves, as opposed to the more percussive and more punchy tone of the Martins and Gibsons, I would say go with the Elixirs for sure. If you want that punchy tone that the Martins and Gibsons are going to have, then I would recommend going with some other set of strings, even the cheaper Martin SPs, the $5 ones, and just changing them out more often or something, because I have not played a set of strings that I disliked more than these lifespans. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Kind of let me know what your experience with these is. Like I said, this is all just kind of my opinion. I mean, some people are going to have different experiences. Some people are going to love them. Some people are going to hate them. And I don't necessarily want to like step on anybody's toes by saying I hate them, but they're just definitely not for me. But I'd love to hear from you guys why you love them or why you hate them like me. So again guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, or if you're curious about any other brands of strings or any other brands of gear or any of guitars or anything like that, go ahead and hit me up in the comments below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to them, and I love talking to you guys. Thanks again so much guys. I hope y'all have a great day.